Hello and welcome to Miss Charlotte Astrology. I'm Miss Charlotte, a full-time working astrologer, and on this channel I analyse the astrological charts of public figures. And very often they are celebrities, but today I'll be analysing the chart of Oscar Pistorius. So in case you haven't heard of him, he is a former South African Paralympian. He was kind of like the Hercules of the Paralympics. He was very popular, very accomplished sprinter, and he is a double amputee, so he doesn't have the lower half of his legs. He runs on, he ran on specialized legs. I don't know the name of them, okay, but he was a fantastic athlete and he was very, very popular. But then he later on became infamous for killing his girlfriend Reva Steenkamp when she was in the bathroom. His argument was that he was paranoid and he thought it was a home invader, and so he shot her through the door. And there's another argument to say that he was abusive toward her and that he did it on purpose. So it's not the argument of did he or didn't he, it's like, did he mean to or did he not mean to? And yeah, so he's a very controversial figure. He is released, or he's being released, and he's making the news at the moment, and a lot of people are unhappy about that. So I wanted to have a look at his chart just to understand what was going on, what is his psychology, and hopefully, shine some light onto the situation. Now, before I dive into it, just want you guys to know I do personalized readings. I do Zoom appointments where I can meet up with you on Zoom and take you through the chart, very similar to what I do here, where I get your chart up and I'm in like a little box in the corner of your screen, and we actually talk about your chart, and so you can understand your placements, and then you keep the recording of the reading, so you have something to take with you and you don't have to take notes and worry. So everyone gets a recording when they do a reading with me. Otherwise, you can book a recorded reading, which is a 20-minute recording of my voice analyzing your chart. All you have to do to order it is go in my Calendly, book it out a specific time and day, and then I'll complete the reading and it'll be sent to you within that 24 hours of that specified time and day. So we don't have to meet up. We can meet up. It's up to you what you want to do, but I'll link everything below. Let's dive into it. Okay, he's an Aquarius Rising. He's a hothead. This guy's a hothead. He got a bad temper. You know how I know that? Because they're the Sun square Mars. They're fire planets. When the fire planets square up, you got a temper problem. So the Sun is the ego. The Sun is at 29 degrees in Scorpio, and the Mars is at 27 degrees in Aquarius. There's a misalignment between the ego and the temper. And it's not a pleasant placement. It's hard because when you have a sun in Pluto, that is notoriously like a very private placement. But then Mars is in Aquarius, and that's someone that wants to be seen and wants to make a difference and is really motivated by changing the game and progress, and that requires you to be visible. So when you have a sun sign that wants to be invisible and a Mars that wants to be recognized, there's going to be a clash and there's going to be a bad temper. Because your ego is going to do things that don't feed your Mars. Then your Mars is going to do reckless things that hurt you, that that disgrace you. Mars is the planet of anger and sex. It's that masculine sexual energy. It's literally the boom boom, right? It's a weapon. The Mars, the weapon, is disgracing the Sun, is ruining his reputation. Literally, that's what it means. And it's squared. Mars is squared the Sun in the 10th house of the public. His bad temper, his boom boom, because I don't think I can say it on YouTube, the weapon that he used. His boom boom, his Mars is interfering with the shine of his Sun in the 10th house. And all his business is going to be aired out for the public to consume. So it is not an easy placement. What he does want to be known for, because the Sun is still, even though it's in a quiet, private sign, it's still in the 10th house of the people. He wants to be known for his skill. He wants to be known for his service to society. He wants to be respected. And the Sun in the 10th house is someone who's popular, is someone who is respected. People with their sun in the 10th house, whether or not it is in an introverted or extroverted sign, they're going to be known for their profession. They're going to be known for what they do. A lot of themselves and their unique identity and their expression, who they are. Because wherever the sun shines is where you have honor and glory. If it's at the top of the chart in the 10th house, you're going to be known for your career. You're going to be known for your duty and your service and your contribution to society. So that's a very nice placement to have, to make money and to do well. But when it squares off your Mars, you losing your temper, you acting impulsively will disgrace you. Mars square sun in the 10th house. And now, another placement. Let's move along. Mercury. Mercury is the mind. Mercury is the mind and it's the body because it governs Gemini, which is the mind sign, and it governs Virgo, which is the body sign. It's in retrograde. So the mind and the body, they have some trouble. And indeed, being a para-Olympian, the body is not quite perfect. But it's something that he's famous for, his focus, the mind, the focused body, even though it is in retrograde. Having a Mercury at the top of the chart is someone that has a voice. You know, I think with Mercury retrograde, there can be trouble with speaking, like there might be, but ultimately, if you've got Mercury at the top of your chart, that's a voice that has to be heard, and that's a story that you need to tell. And you got to learn to be a good public speaker. If you have a Mercury in retrograde and you hate public speaking, but it's in a public house, learn how to learn, okay? Just because something's retrograde, it doesn't mean you can't get really good at it. In fact, a lot of people with retrograde Mercuries end up being fantastic communicators. It just takes a while to get there. But he was famous for his very inspiring story. And for his success. So Mercury at the top of the chart makes a lot of sense. Famous for his body, famous for his mind, his focus. But look, it's also squared. There are two personal placements that are squared here. Mercury, it's squaring the moon. I mean, there is it's not an exact, like I know that the orb is 10 degrees. I usually keep it to a single digit of 9, but they're in squared off signs. It's close enough for me to say that the mind is not aligning with the emotions. It's another placement that could mean problems with regulating feelings, regulating emotions. The moon in Leo. You moon in Leos, in their domestic sphere, they need, Leo's ruled by the sun, right? So when the moon lies in Leo, even if they don't necessarily want to be famous or they want to be seen, in terms of their personal lives, they want to be the center of it all. They need to be worshipped. Fire needs to burn. It needs logs thrown at it. It needs to be romanticized. It needs to be the center of the domestic sphere. Moon represents the domestic sphere. The sun is shiny. It's the star. So in terms of his personal life, he needs to have everything revolving around him. I love a Leo moon, so this is just me going into the dark side of you, okay? Because they can be generous, they can be kind, they can be lovely, but they can also be hardcore narcissists in terms of within the home, because the moon is the unseen, but Leo loves to shine bright and loves to be visible. So having the moon in squared off signs to Mercury, his emotional nature, his emotions, and him, again, acting impulsively are going to disgrace him as well. He's going to be seen as crazy. Mercury is the mind, moon, the emotions. His sense of logic and his intelligence are not in alignment with what could be a very immature moon placement. And also the moon lies in the same sign as descendant. I think he's a little bit codependent. Wow, what's the situation with his family though? Because his IC's in Taurus. I don't know what's going on here. But someone that is not treating their girlfriend well, and then their moon is not really well aspected to their 4th house, which the moon rules, tells me something. Why is he seeking intimacy in the 7th house? Because people with their moon playing out in the 7th house, or people with their moon on the same, in the same sign as their descendant, they really rely on, often if it's a man, romantic partnerships in order to understand their own feelings. And I have 7th house placements too. This is not me talking shit. Any 7th house placement, personal placement, that's a codependent placement. The sign of the moon playing out in the 7th house, he needs other people in order to process his own feelings. But that's also someone who could lose their temper, you know, especially when it's squared off like this. His Mars and Moon squared off with the midheaven. That is getting him into trouble. Well, squared off with things on the midheaven anyway, because Mars is actually trining. Is Mars trining his midheaven? No, it's not. It's trining other things. I'm seeing some blue lines though. We'll look at them in a minute. Oh, it's his Pallas Athena at 27 degrees actually. Very nice. Pallas Athena, his Mars at 27 degrees has an exact trine with Pallas Athena at 27 degrees in Libra. Oh, that's the genius. I wonder if he did other things, because I don't know much about his career, but did he do educational things? Because that Pallas Athena is in the 9th house. Like, did he go around to schools and stuff and like do inspirational talks, and like was he like playing a bit of a philosopher? You know, I know he was like Hercules in the Paralympics, but I wonder if he like took on other work that was more educational, because that Pallas Athena is in the 9th house. He'd be good talking to school children and things like that back then anyway, not now. Yeah, this is an interesting chart. A lot of his personal placements are above, well, not the moon, not Mars, but everything's at the top there. So he was super famous. Pluto, which governs Scorpio, lies in a conjunction with that midheaven, lies in a conjunction with that Mercury, the planet of death and regeneration, lying in the same sign as Mercury, which governs the body and the mind. Oh, what happened to him? Was there an accident? He had an accident. Is that how, was he born with the legs the way they are, or did he get into an accident? I think he got into an accident, right? Can someone put in the comments, tell me what happened, because I can't quite remember. In my mind, it was an accident. But yeah, I mean, that's the planet of death and regeneration in a conjunction with the planet that governs the body on the midheaven of reputation and career. Like, do you see what's going on here? It's crazy. Also, Pluto on the midheaven, they need to be their own boss. They don't like authority. They are the authority. So they can be trouble with bosses with this placement. So it's probably good if he is his own, you know, he is his own employee. He's his own boss, sorry. Now, let's look at this South Node. North Node, South Node. South Node is where you were in the early part of your life, in your previous incarnation, and the energy that you bring into this present incarnation before your Saturn return. His South Node is in Libra, and part of Fortune's here. In the 9th house of expansion and luck, and, you know, and it's in the sign of like partnerships, and it's with Venus and his Pallas Athena, his genius and his beauty, and there's a lot of admiration here. There's a lot of cooperative partnerships here. Things are nice, like fame at a young age, like things are going good. You know, Venus retrograde, disappointing relationships. But anyway, otherwise, this is a really nice South Node, and it's really close to his personal placements. A lot of great things for him, a lot of luck, a lot of fame, a lot of wealth. Yeah, good cooperative partnerships. And then where's it going? It's very nicely aspected as well, all those Libra placements. Where's it going? This is our quiet, empty 3rd house, eh? North Node in Aries, alone on the mountaintop. Or a hill, whatever. It's at the bottom of the chart. It's not that great a peak, is it? So the North Node in Aries, and he's having his nodal return. A lot of men getting in trouble in the media right now, like Jamie Foxx, like their nodal returns are here, and they're just like, they're getting in trouble. Or, you know, their troubles are being talked about in the public. North Node in Aries is about, you know, fighting. It's about war. It's about pioneering. It's about, you know, being an Aries, you know, being an individualist, like being alone. It can even mean being alone. And being in your masculinity. That is in the 3rd house of the local town, the small town. This is not very well aspected. You know, I could argue that, oh yeah, North Node in Aries is about defending yourself and pioneering, all of that. But when it's in the 3rd house of the local community, there's no one really there's no one giving you applause. And what are the things that are leading him there? Look at the blue lines. Well, how did he get there? The blue lines to your North Node, they're the aspects that tell you how you're going to get there, how you're going to achieve your destiny. Chiron. A wound, Chiron is Chiron in Gemini. I was born under that. A lot of us millennials were born under that. It's a generational asteroid. It doesn't necessarily indicate like a personal, like psychological part of, it's a wound, right? It just shows you where you're hurt. So Chiron in Gemini is a wound of communication, and that is sextiling that north node. So a wound, a pain gets him there, a wound of communication. It's also social things get him there. And then follow the blue line, what is it? Uranus, the chaos, the public, the internet, chaos things that are out of his control also take him there. Chaotic events like the one that he got arrested for help him get there. But there's no personal placement, really. There's no sun, moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus. They're not aspecting that north node at all. The asteroid of the wound and the planet of chaos, those are the things helping him get there. And this is his nodal return. So he's going to return to his hometown, or he's going to like go settle somewhere and live a quiet, sad life, thinking about what he has done. Hopefully he doesn't do anything else. Hopefully he just finds some healing. That's what I wish for him. I wish healing for him. I don't want to wish him any ill, because that's just not my vibe. But you know what? You got to live with that karma, bro. You got to live with that, because whether you meant to or not, you shot her and you threatened her. Oscar. You know, sometimes when I go into a reading like this, I'm like starting to talk to them. I'm like, you idiot. Like, but he has a bad temper. That's why he got there. You know, like most of us don't have a weapon nearby when we're sleeping. And he slept with a weapon nearby. What the fuck? Why? Why would you even do that? Like, you have a woman in the bed next to you. Like, I just don't. Listen, maybe it was an accident. I could definitely see how this was an accident. But imagine someone who's incredibly paranoid, who's incredibly angry, has anger issues, potentially an abusive person, who has a weapon under their pillow or under their mattress, being in a state of paranoia, thinking that someone is, you know, someone uninvited is in their house. Yeah, they're gonna like kaboom boom. You know what I mean? Like, whether or not he thought it was her, he was a loaded weapon. Literally. He was. He should pay for that. He did it. Whether it was an oopsie daisies or it was intentional, he did that. He pulled the trigger. She was on the fucking toilet. Anyway, obviously I've got some feelings. Obviously she was spending the night with him. Anyway, I'm sure there's going to be some apologists that like, he didn't mean to. He shot her. Ugh. Anyway, I mean, it's not fun when you have your north node, you know, not aspecting your personal placements. It hurts. Ouchie, ouchie. He got away with this very lightly. He'll be fine. He's got to live with the decision, but no more peaceful, harmonious relationships. No more honor and glory. No one likes you anymore. I don't even think he can write a book about this. He probably will. He might pull an OJ. Happy nodal return, motherfucker. Oh, by the way, I just realized there's actually a sextile with his Mars. It's a personal placement, but still not very pleasant. His anger takes him to his north node. This crazy Mars in Aquarius that goes kaboom boom sextiles his north node in Aries. Reclaim his masculinity, and Mars rules Aries, so this is quite appropriate. All right, guys, that's it. If you know anything else about Oscar Pistorius, about his family life, or, you know, if you know anything about the details of the case, because I can vaguely remember them, please put it in the comments. This guy. By the way, I think he was with Reva because she looked good on his arm. Venus in Libra retrograde. Romantic, but they also need someone pretty on their arm. Okay. Have a good one, guys. Thank you. If you want to book a reading, 60-minute with me, you can do that. Remember, they are recorded, so you get something at the end of it. You don't have to take notes while I'm talking. Or you can get a recorded reading, and I'll link them all below. Thank you so much. Bye.